What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my post-event recap for UFC Abu Dhabi. Robert Whittaker going against Reinier the Ritter. And yeah, I'm not happy. I'm certainly not happy at all. Usually I like to come on here and make it a little fun, crack some jokes. But no, I'm not happy. It was my worst card ever. I've started this back in late 2018. Been doing this, I think, going on 7 or so years. This was the worst I've ever done from a pick perspective, from a betting perspective. It was the worst card I've ever had, and I didn't like this card from a betting perspective, and I kept it light-ish, but not light enough. So I'm not too excited about what took place today. It was a long day. The fight's kicked off at 12. It's 6:30 right now. It was just 6 straight hours of getting brutally fucked. So not too happy. But let's dig into it. Okay, anyway. Marcus Buchecha, Martin Badai. My first bet of the night, I had Buchecha to win in rounds 1 or rounds 2. And I knew it was completely over when I saw him pull guard in the first 30 seconds. That was awesome. Horrible performance from Marcus Buchecha. This guy is a 17-time world BJJ champion. Decent wrestler. And he lost to Martin Buday. I mean, if you're losing to Martin Buday, and you're probably not going to win too many UFC fights. Marcus actually had a chance to finish Buday in the second round. Got to his back. And he was just tired. He just gassed out. So, yeah, Buchecha, for in the future, he has no striking. He has no cardio. He has no wrestling. Marcus Buchecha, you should be ashamed of yourself, and I should be ashamed of myself for putting any money on this guy. He was like minus 300 and something. Absolutely disgusting. Martin Buday gets it done. Martin Buday is like 7-1 in the UFC. It's ridiculous. I can't believe Martin Buday is 7-1. Like, they might as well just put him in the rankings. I mean, Tai Tuivasa is in the rankings right now. I think he's ranked 10, and Tai Tuivasa is 0-6 in his last 6 fights. So yeah, put Martin Buday in the rankings. Why not? It's the heavyweight division. Marcus Buchecha kicks the night off on a terrible note. The fight was awful. The fight was greasy and sweaty, and it was just terrible. But yeah, Marcus Buchecha gets the loss. Buday gets the win as a big underdog. Next fight, we have Stephen Wynn going against Muhammad Yaya. And this was the one thing I got right this week. I was very confident in Stephen Wynn. The problem is, so were the books. When I taped this fight, I was hoping to get a playable price on Stephen Wynn, but Stephen Wynn got as high as a minus 400 favorite, right? And to be fair, he looked minus 400 and wider, but, I was hoping for a better price. I was looking at Wynn inside the distance, but that was a minus number. But yeah, they were sharp. They were super sharp because all those Wynn props they hit, and they hit with flying colors almost. They almost didn't hit, actually, because of Jason Herzog. Jason Herzog almost killed Muhammad Yaya. They officially credited Muhammad Yaya, or they officially credited Stephen Wynn with 6 knockdowns, but I counted 8. I counted 8 times he got dropped. So yeah, Stephen Wynn dropped this guy 8 times, and the fight should have been stopped a few move fighters earlier. So yeah, Jason Herzog, he finally stops the fight after Muhammad Yaya's eye completely swells up the whole right side of his face or left side of his face. So yeah, Stephen Wynn gets the job done, and I said it, I'll say it again. Muhammad Yaya is the worst fighter currently on the roster, but I doubt we see him in there again. I think he's 0-3 now, and that was bad. I mean, you can't be getting dropped 6 times by Stephen Wynn. Stephen Wynn landed a total of 6 knockdowns, and there was only a total of 4 knockdowns on the card, so it's crazy. But yeah, Stephen Wynn gets the job done, and I called it. I called Stephen Wynn's second, third round knockout, but I did not bet it. Up next, we have Oslon going against Billy Alakana. I stayed away from this fight just because I didn't want to lay minus 250 on Oslon. At the same time, I didn't think Billy Alakana was a UFC level fighter, and they went on there to put on the worst fight of the night. Oslon stood there for 15 minutes and proceeded to play patty cake with Billy Alakana, maybe a little bit of slap ass, and they slapped each other's ass for 15 minutes. And Billy Alakana outlands Heibbos Oslon 35-28 in a fight that stayed standing for 15 minutes. So, yeah, Alakana gets the win, but it was bad. It was just all bad. It was all bad. 30-27 times 2. Heibbos Oslon actually went to Dagestan. If you go to his Instagram, he actually did a documentary. He spent about 8 weeks in Dagestan, and they should probably not let him back after that performance. I mean, that was one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen in my entire life for Heibbos Oslon. So, yeah, luckily I stayed away from it from a betting perspective, but it was just disgusting. Up next, Tabitha Reichi going against Amanda Heibbos, and this is another one where I didn't have any action on it. And if I did, it would not have been Reichi by KO. Like, that was probably one of the most least likely outcomes. I mean, the fight to go to decision was minus 550. Tabitha Reichi, I don't believe she's ever had a knockout before. She doesn't have a ton of power. It just goes to show you that Amanda Heibbos' chin is very, very bad. If you're getting knocked out by Baby Shark Tabitha Reichi, you probably should consider hanging him up. So Amanda Heibbos should probably consider just retiring after that. Horrible, horrible performance from Amanda Heibbos, eating an elbow and just basically quitting. Amanda Heibbos quit, and Tabitha Reichi gets a second-round knockout. I can't imagine what the odds of Reichi by second-round knockout were. Probably something astronomical, because it's just an outcome that really shouldn't happen, but Reichi gets a knockout. And it's disgusting, because I had a couple violence bets tonight that didn't hit, but this strawweight fight is one of the most violent fights on the card. So, yeah, the violence hits here at a big number. I was not on it. Luckily, I didn't put any money on Heibbos, but definitely wasn't expecting a Tabitha Reichi knockout. Up next, we have another disgusting performance from Blackshere, taking on Davy Grant. And it just straight feels like Blackshere threw the fight to me. I mean, Blackshere, we saw in the first round, and we know this. Blackshere has an astronomical advantage on the ground. He took Davy Grant down in the first round and controlled him very easily. Got into dominant positions very easily. It was very easy for Blackshere. And then Blackshere goes out there in the second round and proceeds to not attempt a single takedown as far as I'm concerned. Goes out there and basically does nothing. Lets Grant beat him up for 5 minutes. And then the third round hits. Blackshere's gassed out. And then he starts to try to kind of half-ass wrestle. I mean, that couldn't have possibly been the game plan, Damon. The game plan was to go out there and wrestle for the first 5 minutes and then stop. That couldn't have been the game plan, Damon. 39-year-old Davy Grant, you can't take him down? Was that really the game plan, Damon? I don't get it. I don't understand that. Blackshere loses. Another big favorite goes down in flames because Blackshere forgot that he's a grappler, and grapplers should grapple, or at least try to, and he didn't. So I actually had the fight doesn't go to decision there because I thought, yeah, Blackshere is going to have opportunities on the ground, and then once the fight's on the feet, Davy Grant will have opportunities on the feet, and he did, and he landed some big shots, but Blackshere just didn't want to engage. Blackshere didn't look like he wanted to be there the last 10 minutes of the fight. So Davy Grant gets the job done. These older fighters have continued to do very well these last 2 weeks, and Blackshere drops the ball and fights incredibly stupid. Up next, we have Carlos Leal going against Muslim Salakov. And if the night hasn't already been worse enough, this is probably the nail. And there were 2 nails in the coffins for me. This was the first nail in the coffin. I had 2 units on Leal to win by knockout. I got it at a good line. I beat a ton of line movement, so I get to cash that CLV. But I do not get to cash the bet because Carlos Leal proceeded to go out there, march forward, and get knocked out by 89-year-old Muslim Salakov in the first 40 seconds of the fight. It kind of felt like a fever dream. It felt like it wasn't real. I mean, this is Carlos Leal, it was his 29th fight, never been knocked out. I don't think I've ever even seen Carlos Leal hurt before. And Muslim Salakov put him out cold, not with a spinning old kick, but with just a punch, man. It was ridiculous. I mean, Muslim Salakov, 90-year-old Muslim Salakov, still getting it done. And you look at Salakov, it's like, I don't know. It just makes no sense to me. I get it. Like, Liao has no striking defense, but geez, I mean, that shouldn't be happening. Muslim Salakov's like one of the oldest fighters in the roster. So, yeah, Carlos Liao loses as the second biggest favorite on the card, and I lose my bet. I did have the fight doesn't go to decision in a parlay, but I parlayed that with something that eventually lost. So, yeah, this was a horrible fight for me. Horrible fight for probably the community. I mean, a lot of people were on Liao by knockout, but it was Muslim Salakov that pulled off the big upset. So old man Salakov gets it done at 110 years old, still going strong. Up next, we have Saider Magomedov going against Bryce Mitchell. I didn't have any action on this fight. I thought it was a very bad performance from really both guys, in my opinion. I thought Bryce looked very rough in the striking in the first round. I thought he looked very rough. I thought he looked very tired. I thought he looked very sloppy in there. But luckily, Saider Magomedov has zero cardio, and Saider Magomedov has zero heart. And it came down to which one of these guys has more heart. They were both completely gassed, completely tired, but which guy had more heart? And the answer is Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell has heart. Saider Magomedov has zero heart, zero will. If fights get tough, he's just going to lay on his ass, and that's exactly what happened. Close-ish fight, but it was a clear 29-28 for Bryce Mitchell. Mitchell got dropped in the first, and then he won the second and third round basically by just simply laying on Saider Magomedov. Didn't do any damage, didn't really go for any submissions. It was just Saider Magomedov laying there via exhaustion. So, yeah, not impressed with either guy here, but Bryce Mitchell gets the job done, and he gets it done by decision. A really terrible fight. I did not really enjoy that fight. Like, nothing happened. They officially credited Mitchell with 13 significant strikes. It was actually Saider Magomedov with the only credited submission attempt of the fight, where he had that guillotine, I believe, early second round. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed. So, yeah, Mitchell gets the job done. Up next, we have Nikita Krylov going against Bogdan Guskov. So I had the fight won't start round 3 here in a parlay, which eventually crashed and burned, but I had it. Was looking at the under 1.5, which hit with flying colors. Probably should have just straight bet that. But, yeah, another instance where you have a very high-level grappler in Nikita Krylov. This is a guy in Nikita Krylov who has probably upwards of 20 submissions on his record. 15, 20 submissions. Maybe a little bit less. I don't know. He has a ton of submissions. He's a black belt. Tons of finish. I know he's finished like 28 out of his 30 wins, right? But yeah, he probably should be grappling here against Bogdan Guskov, especially considering this guy Krylov is coming off of a brutal knockout loss just a couple months ago. And Nikita Krylov goes out there and proceeds to attempt a grand total of 0 takedowns and gets knocked out by Bogdan Guskov. So, yeah, I needed violence there, and I almost was going to bet on Krylov in some sort of fashion. But the reason I didn't is because Krylov showed up at weigh-ins, and he looked old. He looked like he put on 10 years of age over the course of the last 3 months. He looked old. He looked withered. And I wouldn't be shocked if this was probably the last or close to the last we've seen of Nikita Krylov. He can't grapple anymore. He's attempted 0 takedowns his last 2 fights. I don't know if it's his shoulder or what's going on with Krylov, but he doesn't wrestle anymore. He has no chin anymore. Nikita Krylov is absolutely done, and Bogdan Guskov, say what you want about him, he just keeps on winning. I don't think he's the best fighter in the world, but he just keeps on winning. So yeah, Krylov really, I'm not surprised that he lost, but I really believe that Krylov should not have lost this fight had he fought smart, but Krylov fighting smart is something you don't see much these days at all, and really ever. So, yeah. Up next, we have Jose Ochoa going against Oslon Mabayev. Another fight I stayed away from, and luckily I stayed away from a lot of these fights, or it would have been an even worse night than it was, and it was as bad of a night as you can get, because I was looking at like a Jose Ochoa finish prop, and he went for it. Like, he tried to land some big shots, he tried to go for subs, but it was just a levels fight, and that's kind of why I stayed away. Oslon Mabayev was coming off of a loss to Manel Kopp, and I didn't want to discount him from that loss against a very high-level guy in Kopp. And I felt like, yeah, it could be a levels fight. It could be a little bit too soon type fight for Jose Ochoa, and that's exactly what it was. I believe it was 30-27 Oslon Mabayev on most of the scorecards. On 2 scorecards, 30-27, Oslon Mabayev, and then one judge had 29-28 there for for Oslon Mabayev. So yeah, Mabayev gets it done, and he's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. Was it the most exciting fight? Not really, but he humped his leg, and he won the fight. Up next, we have the fight of the night. It was Shara Magomedov going against Marc-Andre Bario, and Shara wins 30-27 across the board. And it actually goes to decision. A lot of people probably weren't expecting this fight to go to decision here. Andre Bario just recently got knocked out by Dustin Stoltzfus, and Shara took him decision. And Marc-Andre, although he lost 30-27 on all 3 judges' scorecards, he did have some moments. Landed a takedown in the first round. Shara blatantly cheated. Grabbed the cage to stand back up. Not even a warning there. And then Bario landed a big shot in the second round. Had a big moment in the second round. But other than that, it was all Shara. Shara landed some big knees, some big elbows. I'm just kind of surprised that Marc-Andre Bario didn't go down over the course of 15 minutes. But yeah, Shara Magomedov wins by decision. Did he look minus 700? No, not really. I mean, if you're minus 700, you'd like to see him go out there and get that finish. But a win is a win, and Shara gets the win there. Up next, we have Petr Yan going against Marcus McGee. And yeah, this was a pretty big levels fight. Petr Yan started slow and ended up winning the fight 29-28 on all 3 judges' scorecards. Yeah, this fight played out exactly how I thought. I thought that Yan would probably lose the first round, and he did on all 3 judges' scorecards, and then he would start to get going. Landed some good shots. Marcus McGee did show off some toughness, some durability. I thought Yan 2-3 might be live. I sprinkled those and didn't even come close. But yeah, Yan won the fight. Slow starter, but we know that. We expect that. And ends up winning 29-28. Just a levels fight. I mean, if Yan lost this fight, it would be his worst loss by like a mile. Like, it shouldn't happen. So Marcus McGee, he will be back, although he is 35. It was just too big of a step up in competition for Marcus McGee. And then we have the main event. Robert Whittaker going against Reinier de Ridder. And yeah, so I had 2 parlays alive at this time. I needed the fight to just simply finish. I really struggled to see this fight going 25 minutes. I really struggled to see Reinier de Ridder going 25 minutes. But he did, and not only did he go 25 minutes, but Reinier de Ridder won the 4th and 5th round on, I believe, 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. Out of everything that happened tonight, out of all the shocking outcomes, Reinier de Ridder winning a 4th and 5th round is the most shocking. I can't believe Robert Whittaker lost to this guy. I really can't. I can't believe Robert Whittaker lost to Reinier de Ridder. Almost knocked him out. He almost knocked him out. I believe it was the second round. Third round. Almost knocks him out in the 3rd round. And a couple punches away from that fight potentially getting stopped. But yeah, and then I guess Robert Whittaker just gassed out. If you would have told me that Reinier de Ridder showed the better cardio in rounds 4 and rounds 5, I would have called you stupid, man. I would have said, that's a stupid take. But no, it's true. Reinier de Ridder showed the better cardio against Robert Whittaker, who Robert Whittaker's been 5 rounds, a handful of times. And Reinier de Ridder's out there death-gassed against GM3 in the 3rd round. This is a guy in Reinier who's quit before because he's been so tired. But he has heart. He's a tough dude. And I hated that performance from Whittaker. I thought it was a very bad performance. I mean, he really shouldn't be losing to Reinier de Ridder. So, yeah, I guess de Ridder's a top 5 middleweight now. It's wild to me. It's very wild. He's a big dude. De Ridder's a big dude. But I'm not he's not a great striker. He has no striking defense. He doesn't have the best cardio. He's a big dude though, and that size did play a factor here. Those knees were nice. I think he only landed 1 takedown, which is ridiculous. They gave him 2. I don't remember 2, but they gave him 2 takedowns over 25 minutes, and he somehow beat Robert Whittaker. I'm not shocked that he beat Whittaker. Don't get me wrong. I'm shocked at how he beat Whittaker. I thought if de Ridder was winning, he would be taking down Rob early and subbing him, but no. He beat him over the course of 25 minutes, which was shocking to me. So yeah, shocking outcome. And my 2 parlays that I had tied to the fight doesn't go to decision were dead. And yeah, shocked, very shocked the fight went 25. It almost finished on a couple different occasions. De Ridder had Robert Whittaker hurt a few times. De Ridder was able to get on top a few times. And then Whittaker landed the biggest shot of the fight and almost finished De Ridder. But yeah. So yeah, it was a horrible night. Horrible night for me. Not too happy. The picks were absolutely awful. The bets were absolutely awful. Got reverse swept on the bets. Almost got reverse swept on the picks. Like, this is a card that I just want to just move on from. It was a disgusting card. I've been doing this for a long time now. The by far the worst I've ever done. So looking forward to circling the wagon next week. It cannot get any worse. But these Abu Dhabi cards have gotten me recently, for sure. The last Abu Dhabi card, I got screwed as well. So maybe I just stay away from these Abu Dhabi cards, because this card was weird. You know, say what you want. Yeah, I did horrible. But who the heck was expecting a 90-year-old Salakov to get a first-round knockout in 40 seconds? Who was expecting Tabitha Reichi to get a knockout? Like, I don't know, it was a weird. Who's expecting RDR to win a decision? Like, come on, man. So weird card, weird results, but you got to take it on the chin and you got to move on, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the hospital to get checked for AIDS because my ass was pounded for 6 hours straight because of this card. I'm exhausted physically. I'm exhausted mentally. I'm exhausted emotionally. This card took several years off my life, and I never even want to think about it again. So, yeah, let me know how you guys did in the comments. Hopefully you guys made it out alive. I'm not sure many did. It'd be kind of hard to make money on this card, but if you did, congrats to you. To make money on this card, you had to have gone pretty contrarian here. But yeah, it was a tough card in my opinion. But yeah, looking to get it back. We have 2 solid cards coming up, 2 Apex cards, I believe. And then we got UFC 319. So looking to put on a 3-event winning streak, starting with the next card, Albazi Tayara, next week. There you guys have it. Best of luck in the future. Like on your way out. Subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow. Stat Diggers with Uncle Weezy. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.